Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Anybody?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, Sandy and
Perfect.
Emily.
I can hear you.
Awesome. We're gonna give it a few more minutes. I know some people are gonna be trickling in.
Hi, Sheila.
Congratulations. Hello, all.
Yeah. I have a sign-in sheet and the agenda, and then there's water.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I've ever been in before, so it's nice.
It's not often that, I mean, especially the last few years that we've had anyone
Here, I think right when I started, we came looking for John Walsh.
Okay.
And like wandered around. I got directed a bunch of different places and got very turned around.
Yes, because where he resides is so nice.
Hey guys, we're gonna give it a few more minutes. I know there's about 3 people that are almost here.
Almost.
Hello, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started, and some more people will probably trickle in here. We'll start with roll call. I'll let everyone on Teams introduce themselves first. Does that sound good? Emily, do you want to go first?
Yeah. Hi, Emily with Care Horizon.
Wayne, Champaign County Regional Planning Commission.
Alicia McCoy, Eagles View Supportive Living.
Sandy Hockman, Evergreen Place Assisted Living, Champaign.
Hila Gruel with the East Central Illinois Area Agency on Aging.
Rita Manning with OSF Hospice.
Awesome. My name's Ashley right here. You can kind of see me. I'm with Health Alliance. If you guys want to go around and introduce yourself, raise your hand. Where's the camera? Right there,
Back here.
right back there. Chris, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, guys. Chris from the Pavilion.
Lisa with the Alzheimer's Association.
Christine Dury from Amber Glen.
So with UIUC.
Happy Road Circle Friends.
Her intern, Alex.
Just Alex.
Sarah, do you want to
yes.
introduce yourself?
Tara Mullins, Health Alliance.
And our speaker.
And that's Hillary.
Yeah.
She's our speaker back
Hi,
there.
Hillary.
All right. Can we get an approval on the agenda, please?
I move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you. I'm taking notes as well.
You're doing a fantastic job. I'll just continue to do what you're doing.
Okay, can I get an approval of last month's meetings that I just sent out?
I approve them. I read them.
Just one sec.
I'll second it.
Okay, thanks, Alicia. Liz is out in Phoenix right now. So I'm gonna give the treasurer report. We have $3,576.93. And she will be here next month. So that's her agenda. Can I get an approval?
I approve the treasurer's report.
You go, Chris.
I'll second.
And can anybody give a report on senior task force?
Well, we have our spring get together tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock at Crystal Lake Park. Actually, I think I brought the flyer. Yep, I brought the flyer. It is a spring social tomorrow morning, 10 to 12. And it says, we're gonna make a seed bomb for Earth Day, and there's donuts, coffee, and juice. It's under the same pavilion we did last year. And it's gonna be just as cold as it was last year. Just saying.
Okay, perfect. There will also be fruit there because I'm bringing fruit. A report from Philanthropy Committee. So we can kind of us three speak on it, Anna. It's going really well. We will probably have about 17 to 18 different vendors. We'll have a stage, we have entertainment, Kalisa, and then I believe it's Jacob from the Park District also performing. We'll have a walk. So seniors, families, it's family friendly, it's a free event. They can walk around, do a 1K if they're interested. There will be trophies for first, second, and third place. We'll have different ages. We'll have giant bubbles, we'll have food trucks. Anything else I'm forgetting?
How many booths so far?
17 to 18 booths.
Kind of like that bingo thing going.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll have a bingo card that will get stamped from each booth. So anybody that participates could win a big raffle prize. Anything else that I'm forgetting? T-shirts will be there.
Date.
June 10th.
11.
June 11th. goodness. June 11th.
It's like, I just approved the mailing. I hope it's the right day.
There will be mail outs. Health Alliance is doing mail out. Chris Healthy Aging usually did a mail out last year. I think they're gonna do it again this year.
And it's from 10 to 2, right?
10 to 1.
10 to 1. Okay.
Good, perfect, thank you.
Ashley, this is Emily.
Go ahead, Emily.
Do you need more, like, do you want us to send out some mail outs to like some of our participants?
Yeah, that would be
I could have our
awesome.
phone monitors do some of that.
Yes, please, Emily. That would be
Okay.
great.
And will the shirts be available before the run or just when we get there?
What was that? Sorry.
Will the shirts be available before or just after we get there?
Hopefully we can get it to you before. I'll keep you posted once we get through that. Does that work?
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions regarding the event coming up? If you want to join the committee, you're more than welcome to join. Just contact Liz. She is in charge of it.
We do need volunteers if we have folks that are willing to volunteer for that day. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Sports teams, if anybody knows volunteers, send them our way.
Hey, Ashley, can you do me up like a little letter or something and send to me? I know the Fisher High School, part of their graduation requirements is volunteer hours. I can send it to their principal and see if they have any high schoolers that might want to do that and who to reach out to.
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
Okay.
Just a reminder, whenever you guys do bring your stuff for your booth, you'll need to bring your own table. You also, if you bring a tent, just know you cannot put anything in the grass and it is windy. So have concrete to hold it or some other item to hold your tent down if you want a tent. So just keep that in mind. The ambulance will be there on site as well in case there's any emergencies.
Porta potties.
Huh?
Porta potties.
Yeah, porta potties, they will be on site as well.
One handicap.
Well, we have a wheelchair accessible one.
That's right.
You got the wheelchair accessible
Yes.
porta potty.
Yep, that's, I think about it. You guys can contact, Chris, Bruns, Anna, Kathy, myself, or Liz if you have any questions. Any old business? No? Okay. Any new business? Oh,
I have,
go ahead.
if anyone's going to the Ebert Festival this weekend, they asked that my clients do artwork and they're gonna be sold there. And part of the money is gonna go to the Alzheimer's Association and part's gonna go to the Circle of Friends Activity Department. So come by, if we're apparently right out front in the 22-mile-an-hour wind, right out front Virginia Theater on Saturday from 10 to whenever I decide I can't be there anymore. So that's kind of cool. They asked if we would sell some of our artwork because they're selling artwork with people that have certain physical limit and cognitive and mental health limitations perhaps. And so we were asked to join that. So come by if you're around and buy some artwork. It's all abstract. It's really cool and framed.
That's typically a really huge event.
Yeah.
Of course, we've been doing it for years, but the artwork, there's a lot of artwork from the people in our community with mental health disabilities.
Jewelry and arts and different things. So stop on by. What is
Do you have to have a ticket or anything?
No,
So, to get into the movies, the Ebert Fest,
yeah, you do for that, but
it's a whole event, like movies, I mean, it's a whole thing.
So what time is the art?
They told us to be there to 10, from 10 to 7. But like I said, 10 to whatever, but yeah, come on by.
Anybody else have anything? Any new business from online people?
Are you making announcements or are we waiting till the end?
Nope, go ahead and make your announcements. We'll have the speaker, our guest speaker speak at the end after we're done.
Okay, well, RPC Regional Planning has started a mortgage program for people who are at 200% poverty level, but you have to be behind on your mortgage.
Is there a dollar amount about how far you have to be behind?
No.
Or-
No, not that I'm aware of. And if you go to our website, there's probably more information.
Anybody else have any announcements?
I guess I do. We have a bunch of these pretty rack cards now about our memory care program. So it's for unpaid caregivers, family and friends of a person who has a memory loss. They don't have to be diagnosed with anything, just experiencing some kind of a memory loss issue. So we have a lot of flyers. We would love to have you take some if you think you have any family or friends or people you're working with who would benefit from that. They do have to be caregiving an older adult, so someone over age 60, but the caregiver can be any age. And we work with the caregiver on increasing their sense of confidence in being a caregiver. And we've got some statistically significant data that they're less likely to put their loved one in a nursing home after working with us, and that they are feeling less stressed and burdened as a caregiver. So I'm pretty excited about it. So I have a bunch if anybody wants.
Go off that. We're having our caregiver conference for family caregivers on May 19th. It's free for them to attend. And what's really exciting right now is about half our registrations are from Champaign too. So we're excited to see both Bloomington and Champaign represented there. And I have flyers that I'll pass around if anyone would like to take some, if you could put them up anywhere, or if you have any questions about participating, you can let myself or Liz know.
Where's this at?
This is at the Marriott in Normal.
That's the rest back.
I'll take one of those two and put it with the notes.
I can email it to you too if that's good.
Does anybody else have anything?
Brookdale, Urbana is hosting a senior prom May 12th, and we would love all of you to attend.
Can I dress up?
Yeah.
Bring a date?
Yeah. We took some of our residents yesterday prom dress shopping. And for some of them, they've never been prom dress shopping. They didn't have proms or their children didn't go to proms. So that was really fun. So May 12th from 2 to 4. I will send out an email because our printer is broken. I will send out an email flyer. And then next Tuesday, we are hosting our Mediterranean happy hour for our professional partners from 4 to 6 in the building. It'll be super fun. We're having a signature drink, the Mediterranean Mule.
Ooh. And what's the date on that?
Next Tuesday, so 26. I can't ask.
From 4 to 6.
Yes, ma'am.
26, yes.
Okay.
You can go walk across the street.
Yes. I'm in Bloomington that day, but maybe I'll
Anybody
come later.
else have anything? No? Okay. All right, well, we will go ahead and go to our speaker, Hilary. Welcome.
Thanks.
Absolutely clapping. Yeah, I saw it. Okay, perfect. If you want me to, I can slide down, or if you want to do it, you can. Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hilary, and today I'd love to talk to you about how clothes can help your mission. So thank you so much for Kathy and Ashley for inviting me to speak, and this is really great. So I'd love to start by just asking, how many people work with individuals with dealing with challenges with aging? So like arthritis, carpal tunnel, Parkinson's. Could I see your raised hands? That's a pretty majority of the group. Does anyone work with people in who have mobility issues? They either use like a walker or a wheelchair. Do you mind raising your hands again? That's about everyone in the room. Perfect. So today my plan was to talk to you about kind of my journey with my startup, offer some other resources regarding clothing, and kind of talk about how clothing can boost self-efficacy feelings, help people feel more independent, and how that can impact your work as well. So my name is Hilary. I'm the founder and CEO of Equability. I'll get into that later. And my day job is as a data analyst at Solo Funds, which is a fintech startup. So I'm working on my startup on the side. And I actually went to U of I. So I love this campus so much. I went here for undergrad, just finished my master's program in December, and decided to stick around and work remotely for a couple of months. So that's a little bit about me. And so to start this whole conversation, I want to take you back to the beginning of this journey for me. So in January 2020, it was the winter break of my senior year. I chose to go to Sao Paulo, Brazil for a 10-day trip. In hindsight, perfect time to go internationally. I mean, like the timing is great. And so during that competition, it was basically centered around people with disabilities. So it was the school from U of I, a school from Germany, Hong Kong, and then the hosting school in Brazil. So we were placed in different teams, and we spent the first few days just going to training facilities, hospitals, therapy centers. We were talking to disability advocates in Brazil. We were visiting with patients who were getting physical therapy. We ended up visiting the Paralympic Training Center in Sao Paulo, which is kind of crazy to think about. And so we talked about some of the issues they were facing. And I think the first time that we really heard about clothes being a really big issue was from Kuchan Nunes. So he's a Brazilian Paralympian. He was a wheelchair rugby player. And he told us a story. He was 29, was very active, did martial arts, rode a motorcycle. And so he got into a motorcycle accident and he had both his legs amputated. So we got to talk to him for about an hour, which is really great. And I think he talked about like infrastructure as an issue because he had trouble getting around in a wheelchair, and Brazilian infrastructure posed a lot of issues, trying to find like wheelchair ramps, those kinds of things. And at the very end, he said, you know, my favorite outfit is a t-shirt and jeans, and I can't wear that anymore. And I think that kind of took me back for a second, and I was like, oh, can you tell me more about that? Because that isn't something that came directly or immediately to me. And so we started talking about how that was basically everything that he wore before his accident. But now because he sits in a wheelchair, the back of his pants slipped down just naturally over time. And so he can't really feel it either. So he's been in a couple situations very early on and then just altogether stopped wearing jeans. And so he also shared that he's very lucky. He's an athlete. He can wear athletic clothes and like stretchy sweatpants and basketball shorts every day and not really stick out. But for professional events like interviews or when they do compete, there are like press conferences where they do have to dress professionally. And then at that point, he has to ask either his wife or someone else at the home to dress him. So I think that really brought up this idea of how clothing can really impact how a person feels independent. And so I think to explore this issue, we did a survey of about 50 people with disabilities. It was only for 2 weeks, and overwhelmingly people said they didn't buy clothes because it'd be too hard to wear. And we also asked how many people use or need assistance while dressing every day, and at least half asked someone for help. So it was from a range of people, different disabilities. So some had dexterity issues, some people didn't, some people had caregivers. But I think that survey really showed how people were just avoiding this issue altogether. So they were adapting to what they perceived as a limitation. They just went, I can't wear button-down shirts, I can't wear jeans, I can't wear slacks, I'll wear something else. So a lot of them were wearing like sweatpants, but I think in an interview, one man said that putting on sweatpants made him feel disabled. So I think it's the little ways that just clothes affect your self-confidence that really stood out to us. And so actually there are 2 studies from the University of Missouri that link a lack of clothes to social and professional barriers. So in one of the interviews, a gentleman shared that he was too embarrassed to ask his family to help him get clothes, and so he ended up missing his brother's wedding because he didn't know who to ask to get formal clothes. He didn't know what the resources were that were available, and so he just sent a gift and didn't end up going to the ceremony. So I think this issue is really prevalent. It's important, and I think it's hard to find the resources out there that exist for people with disabilities too. So I'd love to launch into the first part of my presentation. I want to talk about some of the resources that I've found, some of the other people doing really great work in this field that hopefully can help you offer resources to the people you work with as well. So I did find, as far as adaptive companies, so adaptive clothing market is just identified as any article of clothes that was designed for people with additional needs. So currently in just the adaptive industry, there are 3 main players. There's Silvert's Able to Wear and Easy Fashion. And so that is a screenshot of Silvert's opening screen. So when you go on their website, they have a bunch of offerings that focus on fit, fabric, designs, and like broken down by season. So they have a great variety of clothes. And the people who have bought from Silvert's, they've said that they like the variety, but very obviously it is skewed towards elderly patients. So I talked to someone who got into a car crash and had a nerve system issue from that car crash. And she was like, I looked on these websites and they're all great. Like they have a bunch of options available, but they don't really follow fashion trends. They don't really follow kind of other things that she'd want besides just functionality. So this is a great resource for people who have the style, need adaptive clothes. So they have a bunch of clothes that have Velcro in the back or snap buttons or magnets instead. So this is a great option for people who kind of fit that demographic. So that's what we found for adaptive companies. And actually, in the last 5 years, adaptive clothing has slowly entered the mainstream. There are mainstream companies now that are offering limited adaptive collections. So Tommy Hilfiger actually was one of the first retailers. He created Tommy Adaptive. So of course it is still like 10 shirts compared to like the 50 that everyone else can shop from. But they do have clothes for people who are in wheelchairs, people who have prosthetics, and kind of just in general trying to make clothes and manufacturing from the beginning of the supply chain to be adaptive. So this is a great way for people who kind of like Tommy Hilfiger style, like the style of clothing, and want to buy adaptive clothes. As far as underwear goes, Aerie, which I love their company because they are so inclusive, they've partnered with a company called Slick Chicks. So Slick Chicks cares a lot more of the adaptive underwear, but they've partnered with them to offer some adaptive options. So they have bra hooks on the side, so you can get in and out of your underwear much quicker and much easier. So the limitation of this is that it's only the one fit and like 6 colors in that one fit, but it is a great step towards like including people who have mobility issues. And for my third example, Target has a brand called Cat and Jack that they've created. So generally Cat and Jack is their children's clothes, but they do have a specific area of Cat and Jack that focuses on adaptive clothes. So they do have sensory-friendly clothes. They don't have tag. They don't have like open seams. They specifically design the clothes and chose fabrics that aren't so that can't like be really sensitive for people who have like sensory processing disorder or autism. They do have some other abdominal access things for children who do need that, and then ease of dressing. So they've designed it so that there are snap buttons and other kind of openings that aren't really available in like the regular traditional non-adaptive clothing. These are great options, and they are expanding the field of clothes that are available for people with disabilities, but I think they're still pretty limited. Really quickly,
My bad.
I really quickly wanted to touch on adaptive tools. So online, I did a lot of research and talked to people on the things that they are using. And so for people who can't really bend over, if they can't reach their socks, if they can't put on their shoes very well, there are tools on Amazon called like dressing hooks that can help with that. And they have different lengths. So if you really can't bend over, you can get like longer sticks. So the dressing hook is a really great tool. For people who do have dexterity issues and struggle with buttons of a shirt and zippers too, I think it has a little hook on the other side. There are specific tools that are designed to help them. So theoretically, they have a big handle, so you don't have to bend your fingers that far to grab it. But there are tools like this that can help people button their shirts. And then I really like this because it seems like an all-in-one. There are long shoe horns, so it helps people to get into their shoes, but also has like hooks on the side so they can do other things like put on their jacket or sit down and pull on their shoes and take things off. So I think this is a really great tool as well. And these are all available like on Amazon, and you'll have like 50 plus results whenever you put in these tools. And then specifically for caregivers, a lot of the interviews that we found was sure, the person feels less self-efficacy because they struggle with clothes, but also the people who are interacting with their clothes every single day are caregivers. And so we found that clothing items like this that were designed perhaps not to look the best, that don't look exactly like jeans, but would straightly benefit the caregiver, those have great benefits too. And so we found Care Zips. They're a company that only sells these pants, but they are designed with zippers that caregivers can have an easier time like swapping out diapers or cleaning things. So that'd be helpful for that population. So I think all of these tools are really great. They are designed for a very specific group of people. They help these specific pain points and these issues. But also a lot of the people that I talked about said they don't want a gadget for everything. And it gets a little cluttered, and then they have to like remember where they put certain sticks and stuff. So these tools are great for the people who have very specific needs and want to have these tools, but there are other clothing options as well. I think one of the things that has been so incredible about this journey too, I've been Instagram messaging people who are active on social media, have blogs about resources for people with disabilities. And so I think two of them really stood out that I got to talk to. So the first one's called A Ball of Wax Community. It's run by Lydia. She is an occupational therapist, and she basically has a website that conglomerates a bunch of different resources. So she has a section for accessories, then she has clothing, then she has other things. So that is a screenshot of just the accessories. So she lists out and has links to different websites. She's not sponsored by them at all. She just created this because she wanted to have these resources available. And I think there are a lot of sites that are starting to pop up too, like Patty and Rick. So that was started by a woman named Alexandria, where I think her parents and some of her relatives too had disabilities that made clothes a lot harder to wear. And so she basically does manufacture some of the clothes, but also is this platform for other retailers. So there you can find a lot of the resources for women, men, for kids, for different articles of clothing. She also, I think she has like adaptive jewelry as well, and some other things too. So I really wanted to highlight these two pages as places you can go to look for broader resources as well. And so I think this slide really captures that in the current environment, there are adaptive retailers. So there are companies that sell adaptive clothes, but they do focus on function, not fashion. So if you do have people who just need the clothes and don't really want to keep up with like fashion trends every day, and they have their specific style, that's a great resource. There are limited adaptive retailers, so like Tommy Hilfiger, Target, Aerie. They do offer some adaptive options, but still like a really small percentage of their overall clothes. And then there are non-adaptive retailers that don't offer adaptive options at all, but have a really great variety of clothes. And I think my team and I did all this research, looked at this, looked at the industry, and we went, I think there's something that's left out. And I think the really big issue that was left out is social integration. People with disabilities have to shop in either really limited sections. They have to either change their clothing style or make some other sacrifices in another way, and the clothes are still very expensive. So I'd love to talk to you about Equability, which is my startup. So I think we looked around, and there's a big population of people who gradually develop arthritis. So my mom loves a linen button-down shirt. Like she has about 10 of the exact same shirt in different colors. And I didn't realize that. So when I left for undergrad, my little sister was the only one left with her. And after I left, she started helping my mom button her shirt every day because she has arthritis, she has carpal tunnel, she's an accountant by trade, so she only does like calculator and computer work. And so I think I talked to my mom and talked to a bunch of other people who gradually had this disability that kind of affected their dexterity or mobility, but they had a closet full of their favorite clothes. and all of a sudden they're limited and they can't wear their favorite clothing items anymore. And so I think what our solution is, we modified just the challenging functional features of clothes, so like buttons and zippers. We're not changing the design or size of the clothes at all. We're not tailors. We don't have that skill set available. We only focus on the challenging functional features, and we use existing technology like Velcro magnets and snap buttons. So if you can see, right now we're only focused on, we have a button-down service live, where we're focusing on pants right now, but these are pictures of our button-down shirt modification. So that's magnets, snap buttons, and Velcro. So above, for the magnets, we lined it up exactly with the buttons and moved things around and laid down pieces of magnets. And so they clasp exactly over each button. They're very flat, which has all the materials to be really not noticeable, and it wouldn't look like something was modified if you looked at it on the street. I think we have two main groups that we would love to help. There are people who have clothes already. So if you do get into an accident as you age and you have your favorite clothes and a full closet of clothes, you can send clothes to us. We'd modify it however you'd like and then send it back. And then eventually I would love to partner with retailers. So I'd love for people to be able to go on Gap's website and just send it to us before getting their clothes. I think this is a really good way to visualize it. So if you are a customer, you just go on our website, choose from a drop-down menu of things that change, the modification material, and that is exactly how you process it. You'd mail it to us, we'd send it right back. Our long-term goal is to become embedded within existing checkout processes. So if you do like Gap, if you like Uniqlo, if you like H&M or Banana Republic, if you do like those companies that don't offer adaptive options, you're pretty limited in what you can do. And so theoretically, we would love to be a third shipping option. Do you just choose us? There wouldn't be any additional steps. It'd offer a seamless buying experience. And then you could buy from retailers that don't offer adaptive options. So I think our timeline was starting in January. I participated in a lot of the entrepreneurship programs on campus, which is kind of how I got connected with Kathy through those connections, and have done multiple rounds of prototyping. We launched our button-down modification in November, which is so exciting. And right now we're focusing on our pant modifications. So my business partner is currently, she does all the sewing. I don't know how to sew, which I think is pretty ironic. So she is working on that side of the things, and she's ripping pants apart that we got at Goodwill and trying to modify them. So I do have some of our pant prototypes in the back that I can show you. But we are working on developing that modification, scaling operations, and looking for retail companies or other facilities to partner with. So I think our mission is to change clothes so people don't have to. From a lot of our interviews, we found that people were adapting to this situation. They weren't adapting their clothes to fit their situation. So our motto is change clothes so people don't have to. We want people to be able to wear any kind of clothes, regardless of their lifestyle or their disability, and not be limited by their abilities. So right now we are actively looking for partners with either operations or marketing experience. It's only myself. I do a lot of the business stuff, even though that is not what I learned in school, but that's what I'm in charge of. My Aunt Esper, she's actually been my best friend since 7th grade, which I think is really sweet. She went to fashion school, has created her own clothes, so she is incredible and does that work really well. So she is currently working on all the sewing and operations experience, but we are looking for people to join our team. So anyone, if you know anyone who's really passionate about this or would be interested, please let me know. We are actually looking for feedback for our pant prototypes. They are very early stage still. So we're trying to, yes.
I've been trying to get someone to make some pants for my mother-in-law for the last 40 years. She's in a wheelchair. She's 6 foot tall. She had polio. And so imagine 6 foot tall, there's no length, right? You can't get the length for her.
Right.
And then all of her organs are right around here in her stomach. So then you can't get the length for one thing, but then you can't, if you get an extra large to get it over the belly and to stay up there, then the pants are so wide and big that, and her legs are very small, and then they get caught. So we have to go to a tailor. We have to find extra large, tall pants. And then we have to go to a tailor and have them put the V panels in each side because they can't go, they won't go on, you know, because you can't get them on a regular elastic waist pants. You can't pull them up over her.
Mhm.
So, for years, we've been struggling with this. So,
I think that's kind of the story that I've discovered too, is that people are either like parents or friends are taking pants that people already own and trying to DIY it at home, or going to tailors, and then you have to explain like a whole long list of the things that you need, because usually they don't understand what you need from your clothes as well. So thank you for sharing that. I am sorry that you have to go through all these steps. But I think, yeah, that really rings true with a lot of the other people we've talked about as well. And so I think I've been connected with Kathy, and she's connected me with this group. But I would love to find other places to partner with. I'd love to bring some of the prototypes to your facilities to talk to people about their needs. All of our modifications have been developed through getting feedback. Like our entire company started because we talked to people about their issues. We got feedback the entire way of developing this idea. So I'd love to either visit your facilities and bring those pan prototypes to get that feedback and make sure that people would actually use our service, and that it would be helpful. I know your time is valuable as well. So any pants that we do offer, we'd exchange like 5% of our profits to your facilities as a donation, of course. So yeah, that is what I really want to talk about. So I wanted to cover kind of the clothing resources that are existing, our startup, and just overall talk about how clothes can really impact a person's self-efficacy and feelings of self-independence. Thank you.
Hilary, this is Sheila, and my question is, what is your website and how do we reach you?
Sure. I think it's blocked by this thing in the corner. Let me see if I can lift it up. Okay, that's our website. So it's ecoability.co, not .com. Someone has squatted in that domain name.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I think it's fascinating. We have all of our costs and financial models for like the actual service, and then shipping is like the biggest expense. Like that is more than the labor and materials for these shirts, which I think is ridiculous. So I think I've talked with Kathy, and Circle of Friends could be one of our pickup points, but I also set up a lot of other places around the community as well, so people don't have to go out of their way to drop off their clothes. And that way too, we don't have to charge $20 round trip for shipping, which is like ridiculous. Oh my goodness.
So can people like bring their clothes to you now to have like shirts changed or okay, because I know you say you're talking looking at partnering with retailers, but like I guess right now, like if we know people who could benefit from it, do we just send them to you, or what is that process right now?
Yes, exactly. So that process right now is, I would get the clothes from you. I'd send it to my business partner. She would remove the buttons, lay down the piece of fabric with the magnets sewn onto it. And then we move the buttons around too, so it always looks like it is buttoned. I actually have some of the shirts in the back that I can show you too. So yes, it would just go through me, and then I'd mail them back or deliver them back to you. Thank you. Here, I'll lay them down over here. So Maya is a genius. Like I cannot stress this more. As someone who does not know how to sew, she does crazy things. So for example, this is like a Ralph Lauren shirt we got at Goodwill. And so it's magnetic. But you really can't tell because we used like very specific sewing methods. So we try to sew on the seam that's already existing. So you can't like see that there's an extra thread. Usually we try to match the color as well. And we have like different colors of twill tape inside too, to kind of match what the shirt's color is.
when you wash it, is it an issue with washing with the magnets?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So as long as they're aligned to each other, it shouldn't be an issue. We do recommend, like, have you seen the mesh laundry bags that some people use? So using that would be perfect as well. And I know some people are still kind of nervous about washing magnets. So that's why we do offer Velcro as an option. So I know people who have pacemakers too, they're kind of nervous about having any kind of magnet in their chest. So the Velcro, we put like a little square of Velcro over each of the buttons. So then those wash just fine as well. And then for kids or people who are more familiar with like snap button material, we do have like lines of snap buttons that those wash well too. Because I know some people are like nervous about washing magnets. Yeah.
Can we talk about costs? So let's use that shirt, for example. What would be the total cost to get that taken care of?
Sure. excluding shipping, it's about $25 for each shirt. And so I think that includes all the materials, all the things, all the labor involved too, because it is kind of a tedious process. You have to remove each of the buttons and you have to like individually put them back on too. So it is $25. I can show you the Velcro too. So we've changed it a little bit, but this is our first prototype with Velcro. So from the front, you really can't tell that it is modified at all, but it'd be Velcro instead. And so we did find that just laying down, even though it's so much easier to lay down one long strip of Velcro, it will bubble and it will not lay down very flat. So we decided to do like little squares of Velcro over each of the buttons. Yeah.
Do you have pants in there, did you say?
I do. I have them in my purse, actually. So for the pants, the most difficult part is removing the things that are already there. So removing a zipper from the front of pants is like really, really difficult and takes a lot of time. So we built like these fake pants first to see how the idea would work. And so we've toyed with a few ideas, and these are some starting things. That one doesn't have anything. So for example, one of our ideas was just Velcro the entire way down. We have some modifications that my business partner is still working on for this, where it instead, have you ever seen those pants that have the big hooks on them instead? So we'd have a hook here and perhaps Velcro. We do have an option that has Velcro on top and then magnets as a zipper. There is a company called Magnetic Zipper. And so they actually sell these two pieces that do like click into each other, kind of like a zipper. So their whole idea is if you order from them, you take that with your pants and bring it to a tailor and they'll swap it out for you. So we toyed the idea of maybe like ordering from them and getting these things first. Yeah.
One thing that you should think about when you're making pants is remember when somebody's in a wheelchair and they're sitting there and then you know how the pants slip and you can't. So if they have them up, and typically, unless they're an athlete, there's usually some stomach stuff, whatever. If that Velcro isn't strong enough, that'll just continue to pop open every time they move. So every time there's any movement or anything's going on, that Velcro, if it's not strong enough and it's not stuck together, it's going to open.
Okay, that is a really good point. Thank you so much. I feel like, yeah, it's things like that that I can't contextualize, or I don't have that deeper understanding as you guys do of these issues. So yes, thank you so much for that feedback. I'll definitely relay that to my business partner. Yeah, so if you have any questions, please let me know. I do have some flyers with me too, if you'd like to bring that with you. And yeah, I'd love to talk more about this.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any plans to work with like shoes in the future, things like that?
Yeah, that's definitely something we're working on. I've heard a lot of things. I think Nike has developed adaptive shoes that has either Velcro or they have laces on top and then Velcro on the bottom. So it looks like it's a lace shoe. So people who don't want to have like obvious Velcro on their shoes, that would be a really good option. So there are some companies that are developing adaptive specific shoes. That's definitely something I'd love to do. So I think from interviews you've talked about, like for people who are colorblind, maybe we could get an embroidery machine and like embroider a little tag that says like the colors on them in Braille or something, or anything to help them. We'd love to do like tag removal, shoes, and I've heard socks too are a really big issue to find people to find socks that are big enough to fit over some people's legs. That's a really big issue. So yes, I would love to do shoes. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have anything else before we adjourn? Okay. Can I get an approval to adjourn the meeting?
I moved to adjourn the meeting.
Anyone want a second? Good. All right, meeting is adjourned. Thanks to everyone that's on virtual.
Now, next month is at the library.
Yes. Yes, next month is at the library. We have a guest speaker, Paige Claire.